Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am TheaTouchton. It's been a minute because my life has been on fire, so now I am unemployed in the way that I want to be to fund my production company to the next level, single, and brutally traumatized by capitalism. So I thought it was no better time than to talk about the Hart of Dixie. In my television and film reviews that are not for kids, I do things a little bit differently. So basically what I do is, instead of taking actual moments from the show itself, because you could see it, like, what's the point of just watching a little bit of clips, and it takes like a bunch to like authorize that and everything. I decided that I would do vlogs from my life, like moments from my life, little things I've made with either AI or like literally just filmed because I was walking out and about and I saw something cool, and I put that in there, and then I just do kind of a voiceover talking about what I liked about the film, what could be better, all of that. So that's what you're seeing here. It's an on purpose chaos. So let's talk about the Hart of Dixie. Great to do when you are in a romance, of course. So we are introduced to Zoe Hart. Her last name is Hart. Isn't that so cute? That's why it's called the Hart of Dixie. But she's a New Yorker, actually. And she gave her commencement speech at medical school. Her mom is a publicist, but she gets this offer for a job at a like small town doctor's office, right? Which she's a bit like, she doesn't love that because she just graduated from this like huge school, but she got turned down for prestigious fellowship that she really thought she would get. And Zoe is a daddy's girl because her dad is kind of distant, and we will figure out why. But she wants to become a cardiovascular surgeon like her dad, who her name is literally Hart, right? And then it's like they had a little line that I thought was funny where they're like, you got to work on your own heart, before you work on somebody else's. And she's like, I do cardio 5 days a week, which is so silly. But she doesn't end up getting that internship. And her mom is just like kind of just a nitpicking mom. Like you can tell really like drove her hard. Like she thought that like lights would give her wrinkles. And Zoe thought that she would be doing residencies with her boyfriend, but she ends up dumping her boyfriend because he just talked too much. So now that she doesn't have the heart surgery fellowship that she was hoping, she comes down to the small town, because a lot of like when you're working in an ER, like a lot of, you're not really going to know the name. And this one guy that's at the graduation is like, you could actually see patients and help people, like, but Zoe's like, I don't know about private practice. And there's a great co-star in this episode, like absolutely beautiful. And Zoe still can't get over, like, she wants to be her dad's partner. Like, that's her dream, but her dad is kind of absent. But Harvey, who she met and was saying about, like, hey, join the private practice, is from Bluebell, Alabama, which, what a little cute town name, right? I actually really liked Alabama and have been privileged to go, so I can actually tell you a little bit about what I know about Alabama. But he sends postcards, and he said that the speech really, really inspired him. And for whatever reason, Zoe doesn't think that it's creepy, because I think if I were a young college graduate and I was on the other side of this, I'd be like, oh no. So Zoe heads on down, but the bus drops her off 3 miles, and an attorney, George Tucker, offers a ride. He is a lawyer who lived in the Tribeca. And Zoe kind of just takes in the town. There's a bunch of fancy dresses that they're all dancing for the Confederacy, which is yikes. And then Zoe realizes that it's not a job interview. In fact, Harvey left her half of the practice because he had died, and he had made the receptionist keep the postcard so that she would know. And George is dating a great character. Oh my God, I love Lemon. So Lemon Breland, And her dad is the other half of the practice. They co-owned it, but her dad wants the whole practice. And Zoe's like, yeah, probably. Like, I think I'm just gonna go home. Like, this is weird. And she, like, doesn't take any hints about anything. She feels like, all the people here look like sticks of butter. She, like, makes another secretary get coffee. She's kind of an airhead, you know what I mean? She's not, you will see in these seasons, the Hart of Dixie change her for the better. This is very Hallmarky, and it is wild. It is a CW show, but it is great. So either way, Zoe is like, well, I'm here for the day. I'll help out. So she lets this guy take an eye test for the driver's license. And she gets distracted because her mom is on the phone call. And she kind of gets irritated by her mom. And she's like, well, I moved to Alabama. I'm probably going to take this practice. And then we find out that her secretary drank her coffee because she was thirsty. And she meets this girl, Mabel, who has dark patches. And her mom is, like, making fun of her for being fat, which is not good, but very, very of the South. And then she meets the mayor. Sorry, I'm just laughing about this because this is a fake football player. It's not an actual person that did it, but that is the idea, that this guy used to play for the Crimson Tide, and he is now the mayor, Lavon Haves. Zoe freaks out about his alligator, whose name is Burr Reynolds, and George helps her in. I do like that the mayor just has a pet alligator. Like, that's just, what a little kooky storyline. He comes up every so often when they can afford the animal actor, I guess. So then we have Wayne, who also, for whatever reason, lives there. I guess him and Lavon are best friends or whatever. But Wayne blows a fuse because he's playing Guitar Hero with a woman. And then we found out that a blind guy ran over George Tucker because Zoe has messed up because he has memorized the eye chart, which I just love. I love the dedication. And why someone would want to drive when they can't see. He's almost killed 2 people. And then Lemon's dad rather, comes back from hunting and is super mad, and wants George to sue Harvey because he's like, he cannot have been in his right mind to, like, hire this, like, daughter of his. Like, it's weird. And then Mabel confesses that she's pregnant, that she hasn't taken the test, and the man had left her, didn't leave a condom, and just, like, claimed that, like, she wanted him, but it is sexual abuse. It's really sad. It's honestly very, very heavy for a first episode. Coming at us, like, with Degrassi level stuff, which you can check out my podcast for that. So she helps the bartender who is pregnant with the guy that left, and Lemon is declared Zoe an enemy because her engagement party was tomorrow, and George is run over. And due to her just kind of being all over the place and emotionally a mess, she kind of hooks up with Wade, drunk. And then her mom comes down, and they all go to this engagement party of Lemon's. But Lavon is jealous because Lavon and Lemon have a history. And, oh, this ship, you guys. This ship is going to break your heart, and it doesn't end where you want it to be. So Zoe helps Mabel deliver the baby. And Mabel asks for her, which is really good and kind of shows, like, Lemon's dad, Brick, that, like, she's supposed to be here, right? Like, she is actually good. And this is all really about how, like, Zoe is going to grow up and become, like, more of a doctor that matters. It's very much like, oh, the doctors that don't spend 20 minutes with you and the doctors that actually care. It's about, like, that kind of person, which I think is so sweet and cute and what I want. It's like very giving cottagecore glammed up, you know what I mean? So Maple says for her baby, she's like, I hope that she can grow up and look up to herself, and, like, not be exposed, and, like, that I hope that she can look up to me. And it's a very, very beautiful performance and really, really sweet. So Zoe learns that Harvey the doctor left everything to her because he was her dad. The secretary is the one who tells her, and the mom then reveals the story that she met her dad on a cruise. She had fallen when she broke an arm and she needed blood, and he had given it to her. And, you know, like, her father still, like, gave her the world, and she just wanted to protect her. But Zoe's very much like, that should have been my choice to, like, get to know. But I love that they met on a cruise, because I love a cruise. But I would not want to get pregnant off of meeting someone on a cruise. Like, that sounds so stressful. So her mom is like, hey, whatever, you know, we can discuss this all in therapy. And Zoe's like, no, I'm staying. But then, of course, she has a frog in her bed, which I think is so cute, but she doesn't love. Lemon is mad, Zoe is saying, and she's like, Bluebell isn't an animal shelter. And George informs Zoe that if she doesn't bring in 30% of the business, Brick can buy her out. So she overreacted about tick paralysis. I personally would not be ready. But she figures out that the woman in a parade has MS and needs to rest. And so she agrees to help Lamar build and ride floats and befriends this niece who's this teenager, and she becomes like her mentor. And Lemon is just like, thinks Zoe is disrespectful because they just have different kind of cultures. And Wayne kind of kisses Zoe and he's upset. And he wants her to ditch the float and, like, have a generic beer and just, like, breathe or talk. And they try to fake the MS to have a tear so that she's not, like, embarrassed and having to out her condition. But unfortunately, Brick checks it and she's fine. So she dances, but, of course, she falls apart and the float crashes. And it creates a huge diversion. And they're trying to, like, lie about her disease. But everybody's mad at Zoe and blames it. And at least the girl is like, you know what, don't worry about me. Like, we'll figure it all out. But she just doesn't want anyone to know because she doesn't want that pity look. She wants to, like, deserve everything. Like, she still has, like, pride, which is a very, like, big thing about disability, I think. Like, it's hard because people's attitudes change, which we can get talking about more on as more disabled things come up. But basically, it's like when you're disabled, people just treat you different from when they don't think that you are. And it's very difficult. But anyway, they have Miss H leave, even though she was not ready. And I was very unclear of, like, why they made that secretary leave. I don't know if it was, like, ratings or whatever. I liked her, or it was, like, you know, conflict of schedule, who knows, but I really, really liked her. And Brick and Lemon are talking at the window, reminiscing about their mom who died, and she felt, like, romantic and close to her, but Zoe can't really relate to this kind of dynamic because she didn't have, like, that kind of dad. So Lemon talks to, like, another lady outside the office and kind of find that, like, the mom dies and they bond. Then there is a cook-off, because it's Alabama babies. And then Annabelle, Lemon's best friend, finds out that Lemon eats breakfast with Lamar and is in front of him with no makeup, which is, like, a lot of trust for a woman. So she's starting to get suspicious. And then Brick and Zoe kind of get united together because somebody gets bit by a copperhead, which is, like, a poisonous snake. And Zoe's, like, trying to cook gumbo to prove to the town that she's one of them, and so she can get new patients. It's a very wacky plot, but here we are. And then Burt Reynolds, the alligator, eats the gumbo and is, like, overnighted. And then even though Brick and Zoe work together, Brick takes full credit for saving a man's life. And Lavon kind of had this crush on Dee Dee, but she's moving, and Lavon kind of one-ups Lemon and saves her from going by making her work for George Tucker. And then Zoe gets hit hard by a woman, but there was car exhaust. And then she learns that there's Wanda in the preach-in, and another women have syphilis, which is because Wanda is like the preacher's wife. So small town secrets. And then she also finds out that Wayne's dad is a bit crazy because he basically just got injured in the Navy. He's like always showing off his belly button, I think very drunk. And then we also find that George's dad is obsessed with football and that his mom hates Lemon. So we're very much building like Lemon and Lamar have this beautiful chemistry, and her and George are just like good on paper, good in a picture, but the reality is questionable. And so Lemon's younger sister is drinking and rebelling because Lemon is getting married and leaving the house and going to go move in with George. And George gets frustrated with Brick and is like, you need to raise Magnolia. And he's like, I'm trying, but I'm in like a daze because the wife left him with all the kids and she had most of the kids' duties. And he's like, it's so hard that she left him. Like, he can't deal with it. And then Zoe thought this one guy was a ghost, but he turns out it's a guy who like faked his death. And Lavon calls George like white privileged, basically, because he gets a house that Lemon loves. And Wayne is married, but he won't get a divorce because the guy is just like jealous of, and that his like wife has like this fiance, and he's just very toxic. I kind of hate that he ends up being he's got a lot of growth to do, and he never honestly stops being Southern toxic. But I also will say I get why there is a hot little fetish about that. And it's not just the heat. Lemon is really trying to kind of use the fact that Lavon really likes her to try to get a historic bridge that was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina, to choose her own proposal. And yeah, it does get pretty hot in Alabama. I remember there was like a hurricane when I went to, and it was not great. But yeah, Zoe thought that one guy that was a ghost was dead because she accidentally hit him but couldn't find any signs. But then she like thinks that he is dead, and it's like this weird haunting thing because George is like, oh, that guy died over a year ago. And Lavon was like even interfering with George and Lemon buying their dream house, the Pickney house, because he was like, oh, it's a historical Bluebell property. And then Zoe's mom also tries to like reconcile with her because she knows that there's a lot going on. And then a vet offers a date, and she tries to go, but then she hasn't been stood up in like 8 years, and she like fixed this pig and did a rotation to like make sure that it can stand up. So she's, even though human medicine and medical medicine are a bit different, they're, I guess, okay, it's CW, we're just having a little fun time. And then she realizes that George and her are like Woody Allen, and Lemon is a bit worried that like the more she lets people in, like she's never really gonna love like the person who is her boyfriend. There's like turtle races going on as well, which I think should be more of a pastime. And then Wayne's ex-fiance pulls a crossbow and ends up shooting George, which he is like, this is all illegal because Wayne is like floating and stuff. So Lemon hosted the event with Lavon, which obviously led to some delicious sexual tension between them. All the ships I want in this thing, they never work out, you guys, and it's so sad. But Zoe Hart is dating this like handsome veterinarian, and we kind of realize that Wayne Kinsella is in love with her. even though I'm like meh about Wayne, but he's like, he kind of denies to his ex-wife. He's like, I don't like her, like she drives me crazy, and she's like, yeah, you used to drive me crazy too. So fun for that. Then Zoe has her friend Gigi, who comes from New York with bagels, which Zoe misses so much. And Lavon is like, you know what, you should just host my homecoming party because you can feel more connected to Bluebell. And she's like, great. But when she gets her friend Gigi, who's like very much of a party planner, you know, like New York and Bluebell, Alabama, bit different, y'all, bit different. Don't always have the same things that make things fun. And then George and Wayne are gonna get back at their school nemesis, Jimmy. But then Lemon wants in as well. So that's kind of like a little fun pair of the three of them. We don't get a lot of that going on next time, but enjoy it while it is. She wants to throw like a sexy party, her and Gigi, but Lavon is like, no, this is Bluebell, Alabama. We're prude here. And when Lemon, Wayne, and George prank the guy, he like turns blue, he hits his head, it shocks him and like almost kills him. He ends up being like poisoned by the football grass, which is just another reason, right? Delete football, in my opinion. So very, very. Then we have Planksgiving, which I don't know. Pirates saved a bunch of settlers in a hurricane. And Zoe wants to go back home, but she's still shy of meeting her practice goal. But fortunately, a lot of patients are going to come see her because she's hot, which Brick doesn't have, right? And then Lavon is like, Wade, you should tell Zoe about your feelings. And then George Tucker's father offers him a position in Montgomery, Alabama, but Lemon doesn't want that. Brick gets his patients back, however, because he tells about like his wife, you know, and how he's like a single doctor. And Zoe also like can't name the Mackenzie brothers, but she's like, you know what, it should still count. I brought in the practice. And George's dad made that offer for his law firm because his brother is running for the Senate, so there's an opening. Lavon ends up getting punched and then becomes her patient. I really kind of hate Brick. Like, I feel like he's so selfish, and he could have just been a mentor to her, but instead is like greedy, which is unfortunate. And she overhears George's mom saying that she had to like promise to breastfeed when they have children. And she doesn't really let even Lemon call her mom, which is sad because Lemon has like mother issues and stuff. And she just feels like she doesn't fit into the family, and I think is really like desperate for that love. They've got kids scuba diving to help parents with money problems. Bluebell is a crazy place. The pirates are fake, but everything was meant to be fun and in community. And Lemon loves to play charades. She plays every night. And she likes to spend more time together. And her hair is getting stroked, and she's thinking about like coming to live with them. But George's dad thinks that like in offering him the job, he's helping George with like a character flaw because this neighborhood isn't great. I laughed so much at like the hat over the shoulders. So then we've got a lot of like pageant victims because Zoe makes Rose, who ends up being one of my favorite characters and who I think of fondly whenever I think about little old Hart of Dixie. So they're entering the cinnamon cider pageant. Magnolia is Lemon's sister and is supposed to be a shoo-in to win, but that kind of makes the competition between Zoe and Lemon even bigger. They had a bunch of dorky talent. She can clog, but she can also sing. And Lemon then finds out that her mom is only 30 miles away and that she had left to be an actress. And Zoe is writing Rose so hard, like making her just like smell like lavender. She was gonna buy Rose's a dress, and now the size is out because Lemon is messing with it. And then George and Wayne end up being in jail for stealing a tree because they were like road tripping together, because to pick up a Christmas tree for Bluebell. And then George admits that, like him and Zoe, like they have a spark, they're flirting, but, Lemon is forever for him. And then Zoe gets all mad at Friedrich, who is kind of messing up Rose's flow because she's like, Rose has a crush, and like she likes him, so she needs him to quit playing games and like messing with her pageant vu. Zoe doesn't do any medical things with George, and then Lemon comes on to Lavon because she is feeling really sad because her mom has a new family and called the kid like Little Angel, just like she used to call her. So she's devastated, but Lavon turns her down because he's like, I can't do this. And it is revealed that they had shared their first kiss after she was dealing with the family problems with her mom, and Lavon like got her a necklace she threw away into the ocean and was like, don't be angry or throw out something that was given to you in love. Which is, it's very sweet. I'm so sad about Lavon. And so Zoe finds out that her aunt was once a legacy to the Bluebells, so she kind of maybe wants to join, but Lemon's gonna put her through a humiliating initiation, which I hate, but it's such a Southern girl thing. And then Dee Dee is telling everyone that Wade is in love with her, which is kind of cramping his dating style. And George tries to stop like a huge, chain store coming. I also think it's like wild that Zoe's been here for like months now and no one brought up any of her other family, thinking that maybe she would want to know, right? Like, so wild. But anyway, so to be a legacy of the Bells, she has to recite this chant every time somebody says honey, which in the South is a lot. And then Lemon, it is revealed that Lemon has cursed everybody to become pregnant at the same time. And then like kind of uncurses them. But they have Zoe start bonding over the friends, which makes, I think, Lemon feel very, very weird. And it is revealed that Dee Dee wants to go out with Lavon, and that she's, not crazy. And Annabelle and Zoe start to become friends. The show is so well lit, but that is just like a CW thing. So Zoe's ex is back in town and like wants to get together, but Zoe's not really into it. And Lemon's trying to be this like memory matron. I literally could not care, but Annabelle ends up getting it. And then there's this like really kind of funny bit where Zoe and Annabelle are sneaking around their friendship because obviously Lemon's not gonna like that, and then she doesn't like recognize her or call when she calls out to her on the streets. Like, it's not like a true friendship, and Zoe is like devastated and then behaves also like a wild ex, calling her all the time, which is very, very funny to me. And so Lavon asked Dee Dee to the Sweetie Pie dance. Zoe is gonna go with Jedson, who has apologized for sleeping with her friend, but she kind of doesn't want to go with him because she's worried that he's gonna ruin it, or she would ruin it, because that's what happens anytime she gets involved with the Bluebell. But she decides to go anyway. Wayne, jealous that she has her exes put a possum when she had a bath, which is kind of wild. Lemon hooks up her father Brick with Agnes, whose dress is so beautiful. Zoe puts rose petals all over the room. Wayne like locked her in a room, and she ends up like staying with Rose for a sleepover. And George, I laugh so hard at this, honestly, because I think it's so funny. He lost the save the date cards for the wedding because he is having doubts. Wayne locks Zoe in the room even though it's an emergency. He gave like the girlfriend I love you more and like flowers, which is very sweet. Rose ends up having a cut, but Dee Dee and Lavon are also having issues because Lavon gets jealous and insecure over Lemon. Wayne gets Lemon to dress up as this one girl to convince the ex-boyfriend that they were not together. And we learn that Lemon is on anxiety medication, which makes so much sense, and that she hasn't talked to George about her mom. And Wayne wins this bet on whether this, like, couple would break up, and Zoe gets so mad at him that she puts cornflakes down his shirt. And George is, like, tossing Lemon's to-do list and is like, you know what, we're gonna relax. And she's like, no. And so Dee Dee ends up finding a hidden picture of Lemon, so now Zoe knows what's going on. And so she tries to cover for Lavon and is like, yeah, it's my picture of Lemon, I'm trying to be like her and the Bells. And so I had heard someone coming because I was embarrassed about it, so I hid it under the desk. And then a lot of all these townspeople believe in aliens, but there's actually no aliens, it's lead poisoning. So, okay, like, that's great. And then Lemon and George are planning on eloping while Dee Dee is going to meet Lavon's parents. And they were gonna split because she was flirting with her high school boyfriend because her husband wasn't gonna talk to her, but they get back together. Even though Lavon was very much like, I don't know, she's not super romantically into Dee Dee. So also the town thinks snow is bad luck, and that's what it brings. And Dee Dee and Lavon end up breaking up, and Zoe's just really mad at Wayne for breaking up her and Judson. And Lemon and George do not go through the eloping process, even though Brick would have been there. George also ends up getting Man of the Year, which Brick wanted to be his. And Lavon is going to host this, like, cocktail party, but because of all the awkward reasons of that, you know, he's in love with Lemon, he doesn't. And Zoe ends up helping in. So Zoe's father has moved back to New York because she was calling him, trying to reach him in Germany, but he wasn't there. So he's back in the States and didn't really even, like, talk to her. And then Brick gets a head injury with George, and then they all kind of decide, like, all right, we don't want to elope, we want to get married. There's only Man of the Year, not Woman of the Year. And Wayne writes a song at Magnolia's assistance. And Lavon lets Lemon know that Zoe knows about them, which, you know, Lemon's not going to love. And so George has invited his dad, even though he feels weird that he's, like, being used for the campaign because Zoe has her own dad issues. They have this cute Bells, Baby on the Bottom, You're the Tops outfit. The song is very weird, but the outfits are super cute. But Brick didn't get Man of the Year because Magnolia was, like, super mouthy, I guess, and was just telling all about it. And then Zoe makes a speech, and everybody can tell that she likes George because of the speech. And then George's dad has this heart attack when he's threatened. So Zoe's dad comes in, travels to Bluebell to perform the surgery for George's father as a favor to Zoe. And he's like, listen, we can be colleagues, you know, like, just call me Ethan, which is just, like, so brutally cold for a dad, but whatever. And so Lemon is scared of losing George, so she's like, I guess I should befriend Zoe so that she doesn't tell him about, like, Lavon and I's affair. And it's also the 30th anniversary of the Rammer Jammer, which is where Wayne works. And they have, like, a cocktail contest between Wade and Shelley. Very fun little stuff. I like that Lemon is trying to be her friend. They're honestly more interesting friends than enemies. But man, the dad stuff is so brutal. But Lemon is just, like, so paranoid, right, about Zoe telling George, and then it's gonna be over. And George is just, like, really kind of angry with Lemon for, like, yelling at her dad. Her acting, like, steps up beyond in this episode. Like, I think this is kind of when I started to really care. And then Zoe's like, oh, I'm gonna change my name maybe, and her dad is like, okay, I don't care. And Lemon is just determined to make it her best friend. She invites her even to the wedding, but Zoe, like, knows. And George's dad, he gets protective about George, and he's like, even when we're mad at each other, like, I'm never gonna stop being your dad, which, like, what's that like? You know what I mean? I can't relate. And then George sees Lemon and Lavon, and Zoe just tries to convince them that they were just talking, and is like, oh, like, you know, like, he's at home, it's fine. But George knows what he's seen. And then Zoe is making a romantic connection with one of her patients, and is going to go to lunch with him. And then Lemon is letting Magnolia plan her bachelorette party, which is very, very silly because Magnolia is like a teenager, so that's just going to be wild. And then Wade is doing a bachelor party, hunting one for George, which is also a bit silly to me. And because he doesn't seem like a hunter. And then Lavon gets really drunk at the competition. And Wayne keeps the good drink, and he gets his, like, own restaurant. And the guy that Zoe's seeing as a patient also looks like George, but pretends that he is a ninja. The fact, too, that Magnolia plans a party bus with a stripper pole at 14, it's so funny. I've fallen in love with Annabelle. I think she's just an amazing character. She grows in the seasons to come. And we have Tom, who took the guns and put shells in fire. And then we find out, too, that it's Wayne's brother who is on a date with Zoe, which is so... woo. You know what I mean? Like, uh-oh, awkward. Woo. I don't know why I made those sounds, but just thought you should know. So funny. And then George confronts Lavon about, you know, his affair with Lemon while they're hunting a bear, which is not great, you know. And he takes the news very, very badly, because it was when the affair happened when he was living in New York, working on his law degree. And he breaks off his engagement with Lemon, and he also tells Zoe that they're not friends because she lied to him. And eesh, you know, it's not going well. It's not going the best that it could be. I, like, understand his anger. I don't know that I should have, like, hated, you know, like, I don't know that I would have hated, you know, Zoe for it, because she's, like, new here, right? And there's, like, what does she say? Then you're gonna think she's going after Lemon. Like, he wouldn't have believed her, I think. So Wayne hates his brother because he could have fought in the country, and he could have been, like, this war country hero, and he, like, hates his dad, so they're really estranged. And Wayne shames her for liking men with money, and it's like, why should Zoe feel bad for that? Like, what is wrong with that? Like, just because he feels so insecure. Wayne can't even remember who he slept with. Again, too, George is taken so well, the wedding is broken off, so, like, Lemon is so sad. And he's only, like, really mad at Zoe for a night. They go to New Orleans, but he does come back to Lemon, despite it all, because he is, you know, believes that they're soulmates, and is like, okay, we should get, like, couples counseling. Wade, like, still doesn't know who he slept with, and Lemon tells her dad, Brick, and it's, you know, it's shaping up to get us ready for that season finale. We're almost the home stretch. I can't believe this, honestly, has been one of my shorter videos. I feel like normally when I do TV series, it takes forever, but I think the stuff that is happening on Bluebell is just so simple, and, like, the characters are very, you know, like, not that complex, so pretty easy to do. I love Tommy and Wanda together. I ship them. They are just, like, a little great kind of, like, recurring characters that are fun. George and Lemon reconnect, but she almost falls off a house, and they write all the negative qualities of, like, their exes, trying to, like, separate from all that and start anew in this marriage. I mean, it's pretty it's pretty close, you know. And they did kiss Zoey in New Orleans, which was, I loved it a lot. But then it's kind of hard that he goes back. Now there's a Bluebell battle with a $5,000 prize. But he asked Zoey to be his race partner. And Rose gets asked by Frederick out on a date finally. And George and Lemon are taking couple counseling from the Reverend. So it's going interesting. It's such an interesting thing to be like. I feel like the church has lost its power with like the development of psychology, and I didn't really even think about that until right now, you know what I mean? Until saying this and kind of thinking about how that is how it is. But Zoe still wants to get close to George. Like, she's not giving it up about being with him. And Zoe kind of convinced Frederick's mom to let them have the date. And George and Lemon compete in the competition together so that they can, like, you know, like, get closer again, like, have a fun memory. So Zoe is kind of blaming herself because poor Rose appendix burst and she didn't notice. She just thought it was because she was nervous, and her mom blames Zoe, which is really bad, because she was the one who, like, it happened to her on the date. And so she feels like it's her fault. It's a little bit, like, overdramatic, but absolutely something that happened. And Zoe tells George how it feels. And Lavon is also super mean and sides with Wayne and says that she can't be here. So she's really, really at a low. And then Lemon's head gets stuck in a bed when she and George try to have sexy time. There are a lot of good singers on this show. Like, George and Wanda are also very, very... Like, George is a very, very good singer. He sings a bunch more, you'll see. So bad. Magnolia was trying to pray that Rose died during the competition, so now she feels really bad and is at her beck and call as she heals from the appendicitis. And Wade is thinking about opening his own bar, but Zoe's father returns as well and is like, hey, you have your fellowship now if you want it. And we also find out that Annabelle has been just lying this whole time with her husband gone. Like, that he is, like, just has not been there. Like, so that's why she's been seeming so stressed. Yeah, Zoe mistook Rose's appendix symptoms for love sickness, which is so sad. But I could also see why, but I also see why she feels, like, really bad. Like, she shouldn't have, like, dismissed it. Obviously, a lot is going on in her life. And Zoe is thinking of leaving Bluebell for good, going back with her dad. Zoe doesn't want to care about all of the, like, humans. It's, like, exhausting. She just wants to see a problem and solve the human body. But the truth is like, she's going to become a better person if she stays in Bluebell, even though it's career suicide. But her dad is proud. So now it's raining on her wedding. They spill a mimosa on Lemon's dress. She has a dream, like, Lavon married Zoe, Lemon, and George. And she doesn't really know why Wayne is mad at her. But he kind of comes up with, like, I'm mad because, like, I'm in love with you, you know? Like, I can't get you out of my head. You're everything I think about. I think you're amazing. Like, I don't want to like you because you're also, like, so annoying and not country. And they're, like, trapped in a barn when they say this, right? Like, total, like, Hallmark, bloop, you know? And they, of course, hook up. But George then cancels the wedding on Lemon. He's like, I can't have sex with somebody else because I'm in love with somebody else. And meanwhile, Zoe and Wade are having sex. So, whoop! Oh, so much drama. I'm going to be doing the season 2, you guys, so stay tuned for that. However, it would mean so much if you could like, share this video, subscribe. I am always doing movie reviews and a lot of other film stuff. If you want to donate as well, all that is really, really helpful right now. I am so struggling, but this is the least I can do. So I hope you guys have a good one. Let me know what your thoughts were on the first season of, oh my god, I can't even remember the name of this. Hart of Dixie? I think that's what it's named. Yeah, so I'm so tired, you guys. Clearly, I need to go to bed. But yes, let me know what you thought of this season. Let me know what you think of the other seasons. If there's anything you particularly want to talk about, let me know. And have a good one, you guys. Appreciate you watching all the way to the end.